Hello everyone, it's Junie, checking back in with all of you. And I just wanted to touch base with all of you about Sebastian Rogers. Now, I have shared with all of you that, I myself was a student that struggled with some learning disabilities when I was a student in school. So the things that I know about the education program, and as a person myself who struggled with disabilities in school, I'm assuming, okay, I'm not saying that this is fact. I don't have factual evidence of this, but it's kind of a no-brainer, and I just wanted to bring it up to you, so you guys might be aware of why the school got involved, or how the school was involved. So if Sebastian Rogers, who is autistic, okay, each of the parents have come forward and have verified that he is autistic and that he has a genetic disorder as well, that he's also a victim of sexual abuse. So he would possibly have some trauma left over from that. He could possibly be suffering from PTSD. All kinds of things can happen to a victim at a young age of sexual assault, sexual abuse. So I'm assuming, okay, I know they say never assume because it makes an ass out of you and me, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I can almost guarantee you that Sebastian Rogers was either an IEP student, and he was probably on an IEP plan, even though he was smart and even though he was in regular classes and he could keep up with the classroom, he probably was still considered either an IEP student or a 504 plan student. And what does that mean, basically? Well, I know for sure, when I was a student, it was new. And usually the 504 plan was for students who were severely handicapped when I was a kid. Because they really didn't understand autism, they really didn't understand ADD, ADHD, dyslexia. I mean, it was still very new. I'm 50 years old now, but you would see like the 504 plan student kids. They were the kids that were in wheelchairs, that were severely handicapped. But now, most kids who have autism are on the spectrum, are given the 504 plan or the IEP program, or they combine them. They combine them because your child gets more care and more assistance. And I bet you he probably had both. In my own personal opinion, I think he probably had both. And, that means that you have, if your child is normal and they don't struggle with any learning disabilities, you go to the parent conference, open teacher night, the meet and greet night the day before school starts. You get to meet your teachers that way. Maybe maybe they might call you in for a conference once a year, something like that. But when your kid is on an IEP plan and a 504 plan, either one, you have a little bit more intense meetings than that. Before COVID, they would ask the parents to come in. You'd sit down at a table, like a conference room table, and each teacher would come in and tell you where your child is at. The teacher would say, like, yes, I agree, they should still be on this 504 plan. That happens once a year. And that meeting takes anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. And you actually really interact with the teachers. The student is not present. It's just the teachers, the school nurse, the school guidance counselor. Sometimes if there's behavior issues, sometimes the principal might come in. If there's concerns, the vice principal or the principal might come in. If your child is in counseling, which I would think that he would qualify for the counseling end of it as well. Your school's, the student's guidance counselor will come in and sit in on that meeting as well. And kind of let you know, like, they see your child once a week for, one-on-one support, counseling. If your child has autism or ADD, they might be allowed to have extra time given to them on test. They have extra time extended to them. If there's a big assignment and because of their learning disability, they might need extra assistance to get things done. They might need to have a counselor keep them on track with a journal, that the journal goes home once a day and the parents sign off on that. Now, I don't know if that continues in high school, but, these were just things that were presented to me as a kid. I kind of told you guys I was the kid that wandered off in school. I wandered off a few times in elementary school. By the time I was in junior high, I grew out of that. In high school, I wasn't assigned to any special classes anymore. I was, I wasn't cured. You're never cured from ADD. You're never cured from autism. You're never cured from really dyslexia. It's always there, but you learn how to deal with it. So by the time I was in high school, I wasn't in anything considered like special ed or needing extra assistance with anything. I was able to get myself on track, but not all kids can do that. I was bound and determined to do it. But it took a lot of help from the school to keep me on track. And I would think that the CPS being involved with Sebastian, and from what we understand, he probably would have been given a therapist, I would assume, in school. Sometimes you can see a therapist once a week where you get time out of class to go down and speak to your counselor about the things that are going on at home, about the support that they have at home. They would ask him questions. They would want to know, does he feel safe? These are questions that, when your child is part of this program, your school is really involved with making sure that your kid stays on track. These programs are designed to help your students succeed, so they can learn to live with their disability and be successful. And I just want to make you guys aware that you would have either this once a year, this 2 to 3 hour meeting with everyone that's involved in your child. Everyone who's involved in your child's life during school hours comes and sits down and comes in and meets with the parents, okay? So if Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot were present, and we're up into high school now, okay, there might have been some red flags that the school was aware of. And I would be interested to know, because every time you have, like when there's the new semester, right? When you start a new semester, the classrooms rotate. Let's say you were taking Spanish and, then the next semester you don't take Spanish, you take gym. The school is very in touch with the parents, and you're either sitting face to face, but that doesn't usually happen after COVID. So you're either sitting face to face on a conference call or on a Zoom call. With a Zoom call meeting. And these meetings can last anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. And then you have that big meeting once a year to make sure that your child still qualifies for the 504 plan. That is a given. You have to have that meeting once a year by law in order for your child to stay on the 504 plan. And it's a big deal. Like, it's time consuming. The parents are supposed to be there. Either Seth would be asked to come in or sit in on the conference call, or Katie. One parent has to be present. I know that. So I just find it interesting that, the school would definitely have been involved more so than you think in Sebastian's life and his daily activities at that school. Okay? So that's really all I wanted to do, was point that out to you, that he would probably be, and even if he is, doing great in all of his classes, passing all of his classes, and he's in regular classes because of his autism and because of, the traumatic incident that he experienced as a smaller child, he would probably be considered a 504 plan or an IEP plan, or both. And I'm just trying to make you guys aware what that all entails and how much extra interaction the school would have with the parents and the school would have with the student on a one-to-one basis. So just think about that. He would have been involved in programs to help him succeed, and they would have been asking him questions. So I just wanted to bring that to all of your attention. I'm not saying that the parents are guilty. I'm not accusing them of anything, but I'm just making you aware if Sebastian was enrolled in one of these type of programs, they would have had a lot of interaction with him on a personal level, wanting to know what's going on in that home. He would have been asked questions like that. Does he have everything he needs at home to succeed? Does he have his own safe place at home? They would have asked him questions like, what's happening at home? Is mom helping you with homework? Is your stepdad around? What's going on? So I find it very interesting. So even if Katie says that she had him enrolled in counseling, he would have been enrolled in something at school where they would have had a lot of contact with asking Sebastian questions. So I just want to make you all aware of that. I pulled this stuff off the web about 504 plans and IEP plans with schools. Even private schools have to adhere to these same guidelines as well, because it is a government, it's by law. It's a government thing. If your child has a disability, you can't discriminate against that child. And the school is, asked to provide extra attention to this child if need be. So I just wanted to make you aware, the school would have been asking Sebastian a lot of questions. And that might be why CPS was so involved. Because if you have a child that has autism, the school is going to be asking questions about the support system at home. And that the support system at home matches the support system that they're getting in school. And if there was any red flags, that might be why CPS is involved. Now, I also want to bring to your attention, after, when you're part of these programs, you have, you usually have just a quick conference call meeting during each, when the end of semester, when the classes change, maybe you took Spanish and then you get, the next semester you take gym. They would have been reaching out to the parents, making sure that this child is aware that there's going to be a change in their, schedule, because children with autism, they thrive off of routines. So, you guys know how the semesters, how your classes change and they rotate. Let's say one semester you have gym, the next semester you take Spanish or something like that. Or you have library, or you have study hall. They would have been in touch with the parents, and there would have been stuff written down. So, and that's another thing. If the Proudfoots want us to look at them as innocent, then they can show us the paperwork that CPS provided for them. It shows the date that CPS came out and what CPS, what was the conclusion of what CPS came out with. There would be a paper trail attached with all of this. And I know Chris Proudfoot says that he passed his lie detector test. I know that Katie said that they passed their lie detector test. And I'm going to say the same thing that I said with the Summer Wells parents and everyone involved in Summer Wells' case, all the suspects that everybody just can't let go of. If you want the public to let go and stop biting you on your ass, basically, because this is a very suspicious disappearance of Sebastian. Go to Nancy Grace and take her test, because then she can reveal your test results to the public. The police are not going to tell us the test results like Nancy Grace will. Same thing with all the Summer Wells suspects. If you really want to clear your name, start figuring out a paper trail. Show us your bank statements. Show us when you went to, when you stopped off at Wawa, or when you stopped off at 7-Eleven and you bought a burger, or you bought a hot dog, you got a coffee, you went and got a Big Gulp, whatever. You're going to have a paper trail. Not many people carry cash around these days. Everybody uses some type of check card, cash card, a Visa check card. And every time you swipe your card and you walk into a store or you go through a drive-through, there's a point of sale purchase. It's called a POS, point of sale purchase. And it can provide us with a timeline where you were the day before Sebastian went missing. You can sit here and say you're innocent all you want, but there is a way that you can show us proof with your bank statements that you were near your campground. That Katie was, where she said she was, at the restaurant. Show us the bank statement when you swiped the credit card and you paid for dinner. Show us that. Show us the purchases that you made. Show us the receipts. What exactly did you buy at BJ's? What exactly did you buy at Costco? Did you buy cleaning supplies? Because I'd like to know if that's on that list. I'd like to know if trash bags are on that list. I'd like to know. Okay, not that I'm accusing her of anything, but, I'm just curious. What the hell did you buy? What all did you do that day? You can show us a paper trail with your bank statements. And if you want us to believe that you have nothing to do with your son, you can go to Nancy Grace and ask her to pay for the lie detector test, and she will share with the public the results. And then people will start to shut up. People will start to maybe look at you a little bit differently. If you pass the test, they're not going to be, dogging you like they're dogging you. And I would suggest that the parents just stop the mudslinging and focus on finding Sebastian. I'm sure that it's at a point now, Katie and Chris, where you can leave the house and actually go look for him now. Because we're not at that, crucial time frame in the beginning where they need you at home just in case they need to call you. Now this is the time that you can go out and start looking in the woods. Going out on some of the searches. Going out with the people who have the dogs. Talking to the people that are helping find your son. Maybe bringing them a bottle of water. Maybe packing the searchers a lunch or something. Because that's what I'm thinking. Because that's what I would do if my son or my daughter was missing. I would be at home going crazy. So we are past the point now, Chris and Katie, where, law enforcement wants you just to sit at home and sit by the phone and wait for them to communicate with you. We're past that point. So, I'm just saying, if you want to make your image look better to the public, that's what I would be doing. Because this is a very suspicious situation. I mean, we have neighbors coming forward that they witnessed Sebastian in the garage, sleeping in the garage because of urine issues. The fact that he had urine issues, I know that the school would have been involved in this. The school nurse would have been involved in all of this. So, they have paperwork. That 504 plan has a yearly packet that is sent home, and the parents have to initial everything that was discussed in that yearly 504 plan meeting. It's a thick packet. And I know this because I was a student that had a 504 plan. That's why I know this, okay? The parents would have had to initial everything that was discussed in that yearly meeting. And it's a long meeting. So if the school had concerns about his care at home or not having the proper support system at home, things would be written down. And a parent would get a copy of that. So, the Proudfoots could be showing us documentation of exactly everything that went wrong. They have admitted that CPS was there. Okay, show us what CPS told you to do, because that's what CPS does. They tell you this is the problem, and then you have this much time to fix it, and we're going to come back out, and we're going to make sure that this and this and this is done. If you had a broken front door or a kicked-in front door, CPS would say, hey, you need to fix this door because it's dangerous for an autistic kid. I'm just using it as an example. I'm not saying that their door was busted in. I'm just saying, if the door is sitting off the hinges and you have a small child at home, they'll tell you, hey, you got to fix this. We told you about it on this day. We're going to come back in 2 weeks on this date and check off if the door was repaired or not. That's how CPS works, okay? I know this. So just, you can show us stuff. You're telling us that CPS came out there. Well, show us the paperwork. Show us the dates to clear up all this confusion, because all that it's doing is just allowing, more speculation where everybody's just has more speculation towards you. If you don't want to look guilty, show us things. Show us what you did the day before Sebastian went missing. Show us your bank statements. We know that they were using either a Visa check card or a MasterCard. Hardly anybody carries cash around. When you went to the restaurant, you would have used your credit card, and that when they swipe your credit card, it is called a POS, point of sale purchase, and it gives a timestamp. It shows the date and the time that you were at this location. And that can provide camera footage, you know? Don't let it linger for 3 years like the Wells did. You know, show us what you did the day before. Show us where you were at the day before, Chris Proudfoot. That would be great. Seth, show us where you were. What were your bank statements like? Show us the timestamps. The bank will provide it for you. And it literally tells everybody where you were. If you went and stopped and got a cup of coffee at Starbucks, well, there'll be a POS, point of sale purchase, that you went and had a cup of coffee at 2:15 in this area, in this city and state, on this street, at this address, at this particular time. It is a paper trail of everything that you did. And if you want the public to stop accusing you of something, then get the paper trail. If I was accused of doing a crime, these are the things that I would do. I would cover my ass. CYA. And then it cuts down on speculation. All right. Blessings to you all. This is what I wanted to tell you about, exactly what Sebastian program that he might have been in at school, and exactly, if the Proudfoots and, all the drama to stop the mudslinging. And Seth, really, you should be getting back to working full time. I hate to say this, but even if we don't find Sebastian, you're still going to have to live a life. And I know that's difficult for you. But instead of having Tony, you could be working, and then on the weekends you go out and search for your son. You're going to have to eventually one day, and I know this is difficult, but you're going to have to get back into some type of a routine after a loss. And I know this is hard to understand, but staying off of the YouTube drama is just adding more conflict and confusion and more accusations flying. And that's not helping anybody. It's not helping find Sebastian. It's just more drama and chaos. Chaos doesn't bring truth. Chaos brings confusion. We don't need chaos. We need searching. Calm, everybody working together and searching. That's what we need. Okay? All right, that's just my 2 cents. I know it doesn't mean shit, but I'm just sharing with you as a person who had a 504 plan in school, knowing what Sebastian, his disability. This is the program that he would have been involved in, and there would have been a paper trail, and he would have been asked a lot of questions about his home life. Okay? All right. Blessed be everyone. Bye-bye now.